our guest of today, Boris Benko, Petar Stajanovic, and moderator Mitja Stefancic. We are starting with our 37th edition of TSFF Festival on the 16th of January. We will go on till the 24th. So thank you again, and have a good discussion. Thank you, Marcia.
Thank you, Marco, for the introduction. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here for this event. On behalf of Mitja Stefancic, which is the organizer of this event, together with the TSFF Festival, I'm very honored to have with me here on the stage two key figures of the Slovenian music scene of the last at least 20, 30 years. So we have really two stars here today. And I want to thank in particular Mitja Stefancic, who is the real mind behind this event. Because some months ago, when I advanced the idea, the chance of organizing an event to Slovenian music, he was very enthusiastic and immediately proposed a number of names of musicians. And I think the very first couple of names that you mentioned were the names of Boris and Petar. And in the end, we got them here. So I'm really, really honored and happy of having them here. I'm sure they will give us a great overview of the role that music has played in Slovenia and only in the last 35, 40 years. And Metelkova Ljubljana, for those of you who don't know it yet, is a media platform devoted to culture, history, and contemporary affairs concerning the Balkans and Central and Eastern Europe. So you can check it on the social media and our website, mladinski.it. And without further ado, I leave the floor to Mitja, who will drive this conversation devoted to Slovenian music. And in the end, I hope we'll have time for some Q&A. And I hope you will have many questions. If you won't have, I think I will have some. But thank you.
Good morning. Buongiorno, dobar dan. Today I have the pleasure to moderate the panel on Slovenian music. I hope that it will be both interesting and informative to you. So for the next 40 minutes, we'll have a talk on Slovenian music with guest speakers Boris Benko and Petar Stajanovic, both professional musicians. Together we will exchange some ideas on Slovenian alternative music from 1980s, 1990s until nowadays. And we'll try also to figure out what are the perspectives for such kind of music, maybe for the next years, for the years to come. So by alternative music, I refer to the kind of music that cannot be classified strictly as pop music or folk music, and which can be instead associated with rock, electronic music, post-punk, post-new wave, or other contemporary styles. But first of all, let me introduce you, the guest speakers. Boris Benko, on my right, is a singer, composer, and producer. He is a member of the duo Silence, which includes also keyboardist and composer Primož Hladnik. The duo has released several interesting and enjoyable studio albums and has also scored more than 70 theater plays and dance performances, as well as signed excellent soundtracks for films. In 2006, the duo composed and produced Laibach's album Folk, and in addition, in 2015, Laibach and Silence became the first Western alternative act to perform in North Korea, with the duo rearranging 9 standards from the musical The Sound of Music for the occasion. On my left, Petar Stajanovic. He is a musician, producer, and songwriter. Together with band members Metelkova and MKNŽ Petar is the singer and synth player of the electro-punk group Kontradikshn, which is active since year 2010. Having released 3 albums, Kontradikshn played more than 130 shows in 13 different countries, including those in former Yugoslavia, as well as Austria, Hungary, Poland, Slovakia, the Czech Republic. Last year, they also had a successful gig here in Trieste. As a recording, production, and live sound engineer, Peter has worked with artists as diverse as Torul, Big Band Kölschko, Karma Koma, and many more. In 2017, he joined the Demolition Group, a famous and well-known band in Slovenia. He joined them as a guitarist and played over 40 shows with them up until 2020. So we are now expecting a new one with them. In addition to that, he contributed significantly to the recording, mixing, and co-authoring process in the release of the album Borghesia. A lifelong fan of Demolition Group, Peter gained invaluable experience by playing and collaborating with this renowned band. So now I will start with the questions. Since we refer to the 80s and the 90s, there seems to be an important legacy from the 1980s alternative music in Slovenia. Some bands such as Laibach and the punk band MKNŽ are still very successful in the country and abroad. Others, such as Borghesia, remain highly influential. So first of all, Boris, could you tell us what does Laibach mean to you? What does it represent? How was your experience performing with the group, for example, when you went to North Korea? And Peter, could you tell us about your own experience with the Demolition Group and touring with the band? What does each band represent to you? So first of all, Boris.
Thank you. Well, when we were kids, pretty much like, we saw Laibach primarily, I think, as many people, as a mystery, as an enigma. As a musician, I found them extremely influential because they are a mind-expanding band, I think. They're not a band, actually. It's really difficult to categorize them, to define them. Because when we started making music, we always thought that music is called music. But then Laibach came and they showed us that music can be so much more, is so much more. And that they're a very peculiar collective, because there are no actual musicians like that. They're more like some, what should I describe as masterclass, analyzing the reality that we live with. And they choose their collaborators and realize their projects with the best suited collaborators for the specific project. And they can do virtually anything. They can have this industrial music for which they're most famous. You can do classical music, you can do orchestral music with them, you can do standards from Sound of Music, from musicals with them, you can do whatever. And it's all Laibach, it always works. So in this regard, they're really fascinating, and this was, for me and Primoz, this was really highly influential. And we regard them as like demigods for a while. And after a while, when we got their invitation to work with them, it's remarkable to get an opportunity to work with your childhood idols. And the first project that we did was already really interesting with the folk album that you mentioned, because these are actually reinterpretations, remodelings of national anthems. And while working on this album, we had incredible conditions. I mean, we were given the opportunity to work for the first time with the symphony orchestra. We worked with so many fantastic singers from all over the world because we wanted to have native singers, and it's really amazing. And nothing can really prepare you for the experience of performing with Laibach, because, as I said before, they don't function like an ordinary band. You will play with them in a venue, and you will watch in one side of the venue, you will see like intellectuals, Slavonian type of people, and left-wing people, and then in the other side of the venue, you will see neo-Nazis and skinheads, and they are all watching the same stage. They're all listening to the same music, the same lyrics, and they're all seeing something that they really like. So what exactly are they seeing? This is the question. Life remains the same, but the interpretation varies dramatically. So in this regard, they are really fascinating.
I can confirm that because the first time that I saw them live was, I think it was 1996 with the Asian Theater, and I was still a teenager. And at that time I was very impressed because, as you said, there were people that were clearly found left-wing people, and on the other hand, you got clearly like neo-Nazis, this kind of people, and it was, I think, the only place, the only place where I saw it.
And you can feel the tension in the venue as well, you know, the electricity.
Yeah.
And it's always a little bit dangerous with them. We had the address that I mentioned earlier. We had the Israeli anthem mixed with the Palestinian, and they're playing to an audience which includes Israelis and Palestinians. So it's always quite dangerous. Can be quite dangerous, but that's their charm, I think. As for performing with them in North Korea, that was really surreal experience because Yanni, he's Laibach's mastermind, the main leader of the band, besides the singer, he came to us and said, we would like you to to remodel the songs from a musical, from Sound of Music, and we will play these songs in Pyongyang. And they're jokers. When you work with them, they joke all the time. So pretty much I just started, laughing at it. It was a funny joke. And he was that serious. Like, is he serious? He's like, this, because it sounds great, totally. And then we started working. I accepted this idea that maybe this is actually true. But pretty much didn't believe to the very end. He had the tickets already, but he still believed that this won't happen, this cannot happen. And it was fascinating. It's really crazy, and this is a country that culturally, I think there's like Europe in the 19th century. They haven't experienced the 20th century. They don't have, like dissonant music. They don't have like modern music. Nothing of this happened. They have this really, their music is really happy and really fast. They told us many times, you have to play faster, because all music is made for marching. So we had to speed up all the songs all the time. We were too slow for them, even like we were too slow for them. And for them to have a figure like Milan on stage, because he doesn't sing, he's like reciting with a very, very low menacing voice. And to them this was crazy, because this negates their perception of music completely. This is not pleasant to listen to. This is not nice. He says harsh things as well. So they were shocked. You could see the shock on their face, but they listened. Nevertheless, we were very, we were a little bit frightened, because it's like a big part of the audience are like military personnel, and some of the songs we sang in Korean as well, so you were always nervous that you're going to say something really, pronounce something wrongly, cause a scandal or something. But they were really nice, and it was interesting to experience the culture, because they're not at all like they're described in local media here in the West. They're jokers. They like to drink. They like to dance. But as soon as they start working, they change, because this is it's a totalitarian regime, and if you make a mistake, you will pay for it. So you could see that they will get into big trouble if we make some scandal, if we make something subversive. So we had no desire whatsoever to make a scandal, because they were really nice to us. And experiencing their audience was really interesting. The reactions were really interesting, from people visibly shocked to people who were yawning, sleeping, to those who you could see that they didn't know where they were at the moment, what they were doing, because a lot of the people from the audience were brought in, I don't know from where, from workplaces, I guess, and they didn't know what they were going to listen to. So kudos to them to endure to the end.
Now, Peter, about the Demolition Group, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's also an influential band, originated in 1983, and then it became popular in Slovenia. I saw you on stage with them in Izola, a small city in Slovenia. What was your experience with the Demolition Group? What do they mean to the Slovenian audience and to you?
Mostly hello everyone, I'm happy to be here today. And please forgive me, because I was born in the late 80s, so my eyewitness report from that era will be a bit not so reliable, but I will tell you some stories that I got from Demolition Group. Demolition Group, quite eminent alternative rock band that started in early 80s. They're actually from my home village near Krško. Krško is a city in Slovenia, in the southeast of Slovenia, that has the only landmark that it has is the only nuclear power plant in ex-Yugoslavia, and the village I grew up in is like 5 kilometers away from Krško, and the Demolition Group up from that village. It's like 350 people live there, and we were kind of a family friends with one of the members before, but when I was young, and I always saw them as these big, dark guys, you know, yeah, a bit scary rock and roll guys. And then when I was 10 years old, I saw one scene of their movie, Temni Angeli, you saw that, which is Dark Angels of Destiny, which is explicit movie with a lot of sexual content also, and it's like they didn't let me watch it the whole movie, but I watched like one scene and I was like even more afraid of them. And then when I was 15 or 16 years old, I started to really become eager to learn sound and learn how to play guitar and so on. And then I found out they're kind of a big shots in Slovenia and also abroad. So yeah, experience with them was this was really great. Actually, I was invited in the February or March, I think, in 2017, and I had 2 weeks to learn 25 songs on guitar without musical sheets, and so by ear, and it was like I think 10 hours per day searching for the chords and solos and writing down my own notes, and we played a whole show. big local show. I mean, for alternative music in Slovenia, to get 300 people in the club is a big thing. And it was local. And I was, of course, I was really nervous that time. But then we also toured Serbia a bit and Slovenia, of course, some Croatia, and the guys are really full of knowledge from that era, of course, to the 80s and 90s, and I was like all ears listening to their stories and testimonies, and it was really a dream come true because when I was 15, we started with a band. Actually, it was a big band, the band I have now. I told the guys that if we can at least become like 15% of the Demolition Group, then we won. So to play with them, it was really great honor, and I learned a lot. Also from political views, interesting political views, and a lot of new ways of playing or thinking about arrangements and so on. Great honor.
And now you have a very interesting band, tradition. I think if there is a chance, maybe we can listen to one of your songs and maybe have other projection. Just, I think the song is 27. It's from the first album.
It's from 2016.
Okay. But does it have any meaning, the number 27, or it's just random?
It was written on a tour, and we wrote it together in this kind of a. It was written in a dark age of our band.
Okay. If it's possible, maybe we could watch it.
I'm still learning for this kind of music, I think.
So, what does it mean to be a musician nowadays with the Slovenia? What efforts one has to make, and what are the challenges to promote the music? Where are the venues where you can play?
Yeah, so like I said, Slovenia is a really small scene, and I think you can count fingers on your two hands that how many people are like really living out there, out of music in Slovenia. I think, especially at the Atlantic, it's literally impossible to live just from making music, except Laibach, it started in the 80s. It has this whole movement it created for some pieces. I want to differentiate those bands. It started before the 90s or 2000. Yeah, you have to work everything. I'm luckily I am a freelancer. I'm lucky, yeah. So the money comes from playing shows, selling merch, working with other artists, helping them getting their sounds. Also helped some artists for states. I was also teaching before Corona in one private music school in Krško. But I also work a bit as a freelance graphic designer for like 2-3 hours, 4 hours per day. So I combine the incomes. So yeah, the only way to really in Slovenia to kind of almost to live from your music is to really you have to really make a huge strategy and plan to play abroad and to invest into exposure, because nowadays you don't have just one just one thing you do to get such huge exposure as bands could get in the late 90s Slovenia, like Mitja Stefancic. If you had the music video of the week, you could have like 50 gigs around Slovenia for a year or two. I mean, no medium today is just enough for this kind of exposure because of the noise, with the information age.
Okay. So you need to be visible on different channels, basically. Boris, since 1991, Slovenia is clearly an independent culture, a very different country compared to the 1980s. How difficult and demanding is to become a professional musician? And what are the main channels according to you to create and promote your music? I refer, for example, to radio channels, alternative venues to play gigs, the internet, media platforms, something that creates didn't exist.
I think Peter is here better suited for this answer. But I forgot the question. I forgot the second part. No, I think because we Primož and I actually had a lucky break. We started off as a band in the 90s. We did 2 records. We had a label in Germany, but then we got an invitation to write music for a theater play, which proved to be a very unlucky break for us, because if we were to stay as a band, I don't think that we will be still active today. Because all the business methods, so it's really hard to make a living from alternative music. It's a really small market. The opportunities are really limited, and it's getting worse now. There's no more TV shows, for example, for promoting new bands. There's not a lot of good radio shows promoting new music as well. So the opportunities are really limited. They're actually limited mostly to the internet. I think how well it comes up to how well you swim in this internet. So, but it's also the internet is getting harder as well, because you have like AI now. You have like 50,000 AI generated tracks uploaded to streaming services every single day. It's really scary. So you have to work so much to get some traction, some exposure, and it lasts pretty short. It's this exposure. So we were lucky to get into the theater, and from theater we got to movies, we got to TV series and dance performances, and so this is our main source of income. We still do records, we still tour, but if we were to live from just the bands, it would be really, really hard.
Nevertheless, the track that I chose, and which maybe will be played soon, is Skin, and this track is from either one of the first one of the first albums. Is it a concept album? I think it's about a boy with beard.
Yeah.
Well, just to present people.
It's from the Vein, a tribute to a Ghost album. This album came out in 2004, and we exploited a little bit the internet, which was just in its infant stages back then. So we devised this. We came up with this mockumentary style of story about a young musician who wrote this music and had a very tragic story and died. And we made
I remember.
You remember? We made a homepage devoted dedicated to him, and where we presented his life story, his pictures from his life. But actually, those pictures were pictures from Primož and my life. So he was like a combination of us.
If it's possible, then we play Skin by Silence.
Drawn by your skin every night, I am a strange parasite, breaking the seams of your skin. Don't be afraid, let me in. I read your skin, it's like a book. It is my Bible, oh yeah. Strange
It's actually easier to perform music on stage than to sit and listen to yourself on stage. Yeah.
I saw Silence playing live in Tirana at the Theater some years ago, and afterwards at Metelkova and at Cankarjev, which is an important venue in Ljubljana. I saw Kontradikshn live at MKNŽ Ilirska Bistrica, and then in Ljubljana's Kino Šiška, which is also a very important venue for rock music. Unfortunately, I missed the live show yesterday, but I hope it will be another occasion. The question for you is how relevant are the so-called autonomous places, as for example youth and culture centers in Slovenia, or rock venues, or places like Metelkova Ljubljana, Mostovna Nova Gorica, and similar locations for the continuation and also the blossoming of alternative and independent music, not only in Slovenia, but also music coming from other countries. Are these types of venues still relevant for shaping the music and the new musical trends, particularly among young people, starting boys?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. Yeah, there have been these kinds of venues are essential, crucial, I think. But I think they're not as, they don't have the power that they once did. Not by a fault of their own, but just because of the situation, and maybe also the internet and the changing nature of music, I think, as well. I mean, today we are in a situation when you're actually the very nature of music is changing. What is music? For years, music has been something pretty evident. I mean, you have a band, you have musicians playing it. But today, with the advent of AI, you have for the first time ever, complete and absolute democratization of the process. So even people that cannot play any instruments, that cannot sing, that cannot produce, that cannot do anything, can make music by simply prompt, by writing instructions. So the very definition of a musician is changing. And this question, I think, is valid for the entire world, not just for Slovenia. How will music develop? How will it look like in the future? How will we consume it? Because for years now, I think also that music is just, it's losing its political relevance, it's losing its cultural relevance. It's very, how should I put it, toothless. It doesn't have a bite anymore. So compared to the times of, for instance, Demolition Group or Laibach or Borghesia, which I mentioned before, music is more like background noise today. I think it's more work than entertainment. It's still being listened to. A lot of music is being listened to, but it doesn't have the weight anymore to change society. It doesn't have the weight anymore to influence policy. It doesn't have the weight. It's not like punk, or something like that. I'm hoping this will change, but I'm slightly pessimistic.
What about you, Peter? Do you think there's still chance for live music and
I share some opinions with boys. What maybe I'm a bit more optimistic. I'm trying. So, firstly, the venues, the autonomous venues and youth centers in Slovenia, I think they're the last stone for rock band, for club scene, for the bands, and I cannot find all the words I would use to describe how important it is for young people. I mean, for my generation, was enormously important because you have these immersion places on the one hand, and there are rules. There are certain rules. You have to be dressed like that. You have to talk like that. You have to be shaved and whatsoever. And On the other side, you have these youth centers, communities that are open-minded, honest, warm. I would say you can be weird there and not be judged, I think, and you can learn stuff there. I learned how to fold cables when I was 15 in the youth center, in our local youth center, and then I was introduced with microphones, and you put a cable in the microphone and mix it, and it was like, oh, nobody was. It's not like a school. It's like an informal education. A lot of it is really. I think it's really important. I think not a big foggy mind, no, but I'm going to come back. Yeah. So you have to. I was just saying, you can safely fail in these sections. You can try something new. You can make a band, and you can have your first concert, and you can fail. Nobody's gonna judge you.
Again, sorry to make the pessimistic view, but it's changed as well, because I think when we were younger, we could still fail, because there were no telephones. People weren't recording it. Today, it's harder to fail. So I sympathize with the younger generations, because they have to. We had space to experiment, to find ourselves, I think, and to make a few missteps along the way. Today, I think the younger generation doesn't have this luxury, or everything is recorded. So if you make a misstep, it will follow you for the rest of your life, I think, which is a very toxic thing. I don't like it at all. I think that telephone should go away from concerts. Yes.
I see. It's clearly difficult to look ahead of us, but nevertheless,
You also asked for the AI. I just wanted to say something. I think it's easy to write a sentence, make me a song like this, and you get a song, and it's like your song. Make like 10 songs, then you don't notice a bit of algorithms are repeating, okay, but it's a perfect song, man. What was the challenge? Because it's like, I have friends that they cannot live without cycling, with their bicycles. They need their 2-3 hours per day to just cycle. I need my 2-3 hours per day or more for the band and to make music and to experiment and to play and stuff. So you lose all the magic of playing when you work with AI. But yeah, you have people that listen to music as a background in the car. They don't carry Beyonce or Rihanna on the radio, for instance. Those people, I think the majority of people is like that. I'm pessimistic about this one, but I think that those people won't notice if it's AI Beyonce or the real Beyonce, and they won't care. And I hope, that's why I went with the future for alternative bands will be that people will still seek for handmade music, for feelings, for encounters with the band. So I hope, like, we will still have infrastructure to play, like, for 150 to 100 people.
And live musical is still the sanctuary, I think.
Yeah, this is the most important part. This is the headline for if AI will start playing live music with live figures, that we're done. Thank you very much. Bye. So, but until then, I really hope that the movement of the people that really seek for music will still exist and will be even more respectful, maybe. I mean, even more important for me. Yeah.
So now I will do the last question. Then we give the floor to other questions from the audience if there are. So it's difficult to make predictions, obviously, and to understand what will happen given the changing landscape. But nevertheless, if we look, for example, at the period for the next 5 years, until 2030, according to you, what will be the trajectories and paths undertaken by the new generation of musicians in Slovenia? as well as in other parts maybe of former Yugoslavia. And what may we expect from Slovenia artistically in the coming years? I know it's a difficult question, but just maybe an idea that you have.
It's really difficult question. Again, I think it's not just a question about Slovenia, but I mean it's a worldwide question. Where will all this go? Because Slovenia right now is there. When we started off, we were still in Yugoslavia, so we were behind the eye. We were a different. I don't know how shall I put it, for the West. So because of this, we were interested in the West. As soon as we, gained independence and became just a regular European country, this specificity of the Slovene music vanished. So we're actually just part of the broader, Western cultural market. And the same questions that apply to, I don't know, the US or Western Europe was like here as well. Where will we go? And you can feel very much the influence of the Western market on Slovenian music. It sounds pretty similar, most of it. In this regard, I miss a little bit types of socialism because back then we were convinced that we were, less interested than the West. Not as good, maybe, and we wanted to be. But actually, I think we were in a way better because we were more creative. We were working with what we had, which was less, maybe. But because of this, we were very creative, and this, gave rise to really interesting projects like Demolition Group or Laibach or Borghesia, Evil6, a lot of bands. So I miss this mentality a little bit. Today it's just there is no specific sound, something that is absolutely totally dogmatic. I miss it.
Peter, do you agree with the idea?
Yes, I agree. What happened? Yeah, in the 80s, my testimonies of older generation from the Demolition Group, they said that, they felt like something's gonna happen, and it was turbulent era for Yugoslavia, and like Yugoslavia had this collectivism, and they slowly started to feel they have to, start to think a bit more liberal, freer, and they can be a bit more courageous, which was really, behind the Iron Curtain was really hard to. I cannot imagine how to work in Yugoslavia in the early 80s and do a song like that, and could be probably police. I don't know, but it sounds like it was like that. So they were really hoping for a new future, and they really put all in. And I agree with less tools if you get more creative. Yeah, this is really. Slovenia also is because of the small scene. We learned how to work with less resources.
Also, maybe an interesting story. Ljubljana, it's a very famous scandal that they provoked in the 80s when they had a concert in Zagreb and they projected images from a porn movie over Tito, over the leader of Yugoslavia. So it's a big scandal. They were taken to home arrest, stuff like that. But Yanni always gets a little bit nostalgic. He thinks back. He really loves that period. So when Slovenia came, and we became the West, and we were free to do whatever we want. And then when the COVID came, and we also had a right-wing government, which squeezed a lot the culture scene. And we were preparing a concert in Cankarjev, And the leadership of Cankarjev, which is the main cultural institution, Ljubljana, called us in and said we saw that she was preparing that this concert will have a title, and that there is some political notes in this. You have to, like discard it. You have to put it away, and you have to bring the songs to us, the titles of the songs that you will play, so that we revise them and throw out the titles that can be misinterpreted, that can be problematic. So actually the institution self-censored itself. And I was telling the story to Yanni from Laibach, and he got all misty-eyed, He was, I was outraged, and he was, like smiling. He almost had tears in his eyes, and he said, "Finally, music has weight again." So that's the problem of freedom. We need too much freedom.
Okay, thank you. Before asking for the audience if there's any question, maybe we will play just one more song by Laibach. The title is Maschina, and I hope it will be a song that will be again played live, hopefully in both in Kiev and in Moscow, because I hope that Laibach will have the chance to play there and hopefully different set compared to what is now. So if there is the song, we can watch it.
Only one day is left. Only one day. We are leaving the others. We are going away. Today we all steal. Animals we are. Possession is lost. Our souls are from the wild, and wings to reach the sky. Let the sun fall into the ocean. Let the earth erupt in flame. It is enough to have the strength and knowledge to raise our dream machines into the sky. Let them sleep who do not know. The final day is here, the very last, and we leave at dawn. There is no force, no money, and no power to stop us now and change our fate. Now every problem is destroyed. We raise our hands and bodies to the peak, into the universe, towards the stars we go.
Okay, so thank you again for your invitation. Thank you to Petra and to Boris for sharing ideas, and
Thank you.
very excited.
Thank you very much.
And now there is any question from the audience?
Hi, my question is kind of for you personally as an artist. Have you ever encountered like a longer or period of creativity block? I would like to know what led to it and how did you overcome it, what helped you, and that's that. Thank you. I hope my answer. I didn't. I had like 2 years of. In 2 years, I didn't make a single song, and I started to feel bad because I thought that I started to hate music, but it was just it was also a period of my depression. But the way I overcome it is that I got some advices from others to stop making a goal that you will make something when you start working. I think it helps. It just when you envision, I'm gonna make this and this and this. Yeah, shit, I got that. I don't want, but you just to have really small steps. Just play. Just, I don't know if you use. I don't know what instrument you're using. I mean, I'm using synths and computer and guitar. I mean, like a computer-based stuff. And I just started to my first goal was just to open up the program and just load some synths up. And no goals, no big goals like that period for me. Yeah, just play.
Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah, it happens. It happens. But as Peter said, usually it's not connected to the music. It's connected to the world, to your expectations. Like, how will people react to this? Will this be as good as what I did before? How will we market this? Who will listen to this? A lot of difficult questions that have no easy answer, and it can, it kills the drive sometimes if you think about these things. So the best thing is to keep a childhood habit, just play. Like you did when you were a child, just play. And usually the best results come from this. Don't tether, don't connect your music to the world, the expectations, to your personal, visions, what to do, what you want to achieve and stuff like that. This is a big problem for me also, was in the past, but I think I've managed to go past that, to become a child again in my 50s.
Any other question?
Hello. I just wanted to ask about what that you said, that these days music is too class, and as we have a saying in my country from Lithuania that because of the rock music and jeans, the Soviet Union fell apart. And I'm just interested, more into Slovenian area, because I think back then, especially when I talk to older people or watch archives, I see that there's still this alternative music. A lot of younger people listen to it, and also, even though it was pretty big movement, on the other hand, the pop music still existed, and I think it was still alternative, just like these days. And today there is still a lot of people that are coming to listen to some kind of bands from other cities. I mean, I don't think that it's a lot different in my country, and I think that some alternative music still have this heat and heaviness, and it's trying to talk about problems in our society. On the other hand, maybe the problems aren't so big anymore. As you said, we have a lot of freedom, much more freedom than the generations like 30 years ago. And so my kind of question is it like alternative music? I mean, maybe it's still truth. It was never like meant to be as popular, because I mean, if you're living happily, you listen to Beyonce, I guess. That's that.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, if you asked about the Slovenian perspective, so when I started listening to music, when music started happening to me personally in the 80s, music was a very, very, very powerful force politically because of the independence movement. And the civil society was linked with music and with the general society, which I think this link no longer exists. I think general public doesn't generally listen to alternative music. This is why it's alternative. But in the 80s, it was a very specific situation because of the independence movement, because of the breaking apart of Yugoslavia. So bands like Laibach or Borghesia were really, really popular among regular people, among the general crowd, because they were criticizing the Yugoslav government. It was political. I mean, this was the reason for the popularity. But as soon as we gained independence, this strange honeymoon, which was actually an anomaly, I mean, this marriage between the general public and the alternative music stopped, because alternative music does what alternative music always did. It criticizes. It turns a critical gaze towards the institutions, towards politics, towards our, I don't know, an ecological view and stuff like that. And it's one thing to criticize the Yugoslav government. It's another thing to turn this critical gaze towards ourselves, towards Slovenia. So this marriage that happened in the 80s, that's quite apart. So I think that this right now is a normal situation, probably. You're right. I mean, there's still people who listen to alternative music, and it's powerful to them personally. It can change them personally, but it doesn't happen on such a broad scope as it did for us, because it was a very specific historic context, I think. I don't know if that makes sense.
Hello, pozdravljeni, buongiorno.
Yeah.
Yeah. In English. I know it's difficult to say in general, but I wish if there is any special perception of Trieste among Slovenian artists. What does Trieste mean to us? We know Slovene tend to say Trst je naš, Trieste je nostra, Trst is ours, but it's some funny thing to say. So is there any special connection? I saw that there were yet playing now Trieste months ago and some other bands, but otherwise.
I think you have a great venue, Hangar Teatri. It's cozy. We played there last year. It was pretty cool. Well, Trieste, when I was little, my parents drove to Trieste to buy diapers, to buy diapers for them. So, yeah. No, Trieste is, I think it's a vibrant city, and cultural, and it's really big for us. But it's too bad that it doesn't have more venues for alternative music, also this whole area, as I heard last night, that it's quite, there are no venues, practically today.
I have a personal connection to Trieste, so it's a special city for me, for sure. My parents, we lived in Graz, which is really close here, so we were regularly in Trieste. A lot of things happened to me culturally here. A lot of very good movies. A lot of I still love comics. I still come to Trieste regularly to buy a couple of new Dylan dogs. So, yeah, it's really hard for me to answer because it's a really special place for me. We also made the cover of our musical accompaniment for the annual album in Trieste. So, this was my little tribute to the city.
If I can add something, I think it's a city that could do much more in terms of promoting bands, not only from Slovenia, but from former Yugoslavia, from Central Europe. You know, it has a special location, which is often stressed in marketing and so on, but then in the end, in practice, it doesn't always work. I think it's also a matter of maybe young people to reverse this and to start demanding more alternative shows on critical arts and so on. And, you know, it was for a long years this didn't happen, but maybe in the future it will. Who knows?
I mean, this event is already a step in that direction, I think.
Sure.
There is no other question. I have one. This is the very last question by Mitja. He said that music is starting to gain weight and a role again, thanks or due to the atmosphere we live in. So right-wing parties are governing almost everywhere, fortunately. And the period we're living is very depressive, let's say so. And when we look back, in times of crisis, culture has experienced a great burst in terms of music, cinema, poetry, literature. It's always been like that in history. So anytime we have a time of crisis, artists respond somehow. And so I think we are living a time of crisis again. And do you experience this as artists? Do you see that artists are responding to this again? Or are we still in a depressive mood?
I mean, it's impossible not to be affected by it. I mean, it's so, as you said, it's so general, it's so widespread, and it directly influences our lives. It directly influences our future. Like, for instance, the climate change. I mean, it's like it's a secondary theme now, but it's not a secondary theme. It's a very important one. So I think as an artist, you react to this. Whenever you're working, you're reacting to this, even if not consciously. I mean, it seeps into the work. It gets there. It's inevitable. If you live in the world, if you see these things, and if you don't like them, they will find their way into the music. And it's, as you said, it's a great channel, because music, on the one hand, it gives you a voice. it's limited right now, but it's still a voice to speak about these things. And at the same time, it's also it has a therapeutical value. I mean, it helps you personally. It's better than paying a psychiatrist. It's much cheaper. So in this regard, I really love music because it really helps you.
I would agree with Boris, and I can confirm that you feel they get to you. So I also get anxious because when I don't really want to watch the news too much. I just popping everything like yesterday I saw somewhere that they're popping another debate. Definitely it's gonna be another war in Yugoslavia again, in the Balkans. I was like, what's happening? What one war? People don't have money. I mean, to have a war in the Balkans, and it's weird that they're popping all this stuff. I mean, I get that the war is profitable. It's just crazy, yeah. So the other part I agree with Boris. I would add just a bit forward. The guy that asked for a creativity block. I just remember one thing. When for me it happened like I think 10 years ago, and what helped me also was to make a new definition of success, because we were taught in the 90s from the capitalists that success is money, equals money or profit, and then you have one guy that has 10 employees and makes, I don't know, 150,000 euros profit in a year with the company, and on the other hand, you have a guy that just won a Eurojet, one who performed 40 billion euros, so who's more successful, which is crazy. Yeah. So I would say that my definition of success is that you make yourself achievable. You write down achievable goals for you, and if you're achieving your goals and you're enjoying achieving goals, then you're successful. You have like a big goal, say, I don't know, it cannot be that you will land on the moon, probably, or you first person on the Mars. It's a really unrealistic goal, but then you slice that huge goal on little operating goals, and if you're achieving them, you're successful. And if you're enjoying achieving those goals, you're more successful. But I have to grade my goals. Of course, when I was 19, 20, I didn't know what I could expect from the scene and abroad. Music scene. We were all dreaming until 19 that we're gonna be the next, I don't know what, in Europe. So yeah, I integrated my goals, and now I feel successful. Yeah, but it's weird. Alternative banks, if they get successful by that capitalist definition, they're not anymore that's the mainstream. So, yeah, close.
Any other questions? So I think I can come upstairs. Thank you. If you want to come up here. So thank you to Boris Dendo, Mitja Stefancic, and Mitja Stefancic for this talk. Bring us to the creative, political, alternative Slovenian alternative scene. I think we really need this kind of stuff in the morning, so thank you. Thanks, of course, to Mostovna Nova Gorica and Mostovna Nova Gorica for the collaboration. Let's keep following the program of TSFF37 with more than 120 films and the other sidebar events. This afternoon, we have another event in collaboration with Mostovna Nova Gorica and Mostovna Nova Gorica at the Libreria Upink. It's a journey to the center of peripheries with Eleonora Sacco, Martina Cortano, of course, and Giorgia Spadoni. So let's see you later. Thank you very much.
Thank you.